Welcome to B&A. B&A is the simplest A/B testing tool you can find. So it tries to mimic everything Firebase A/B testing does, but with the advantage of being open and real time. You can simply create an experiment using the provided Swagger documentation. You can easily create all sorts of goals as well. So besides providing an experiment, remote config functionality, if you're not familiar with that, we can provide further documentation regarding A/B testing. But for now, let's go through the documentation and see how we can create an experiment. So let's say that you want to test how effective a screen will be, whether red or blue will lead to more purchases. So the goal ID you set, let's say that your goal ID will be purchase, and the ID of this experiment will be subs1, like subscription. What will be the event that will trigger the enrollment on this experiment by a user? So if the user sends a trigger event, for example, user plan screen view, the user will automatically be enrolled on this experiment. And here you can define the variants. Let's say the first variant will be red, and it will have 3 or more properties. So let's say that the first property will be Romeo, Juliet, and then couplet. You can have weight as well. This is the most interesting part. You can select how frequent this will be in comparison to the other variants. So let's add another variant here called blue, where we want to set that this is going to be Mario and Luigi, and then here Bowser. So the weight will be 2. So we want to test more the Shakespeare variant. We can create the experiment by hitting the execute button, which will be respond by OK. So we have the experiment created, and after this experiment is created, any user that sends an event of that ID will be enrolled in this experiment. We will fast forward to our unit test just to show a little bit in advance. So we have the experiment services, we have the event services, we have remote config. Remote config is a repository of the user configuration. With the advent of the experiments, you can actually automatically update the user remote configuration params. So here we are defining 2 variants, A and B, one with 90 and 10 weight, so it will be evenly distributed. We use some sort of rounded random, so we can actually have a more controlled experiment on our sampling and our user base. The experiment DTO, that's easy. And here we're just gonna simulate, let's say, thousands of participations, and we want to see also if these sophisticated weighted random works or not. So we're gonna give it a spin. So we should expect a distribution of 90 to 10, literally 90% versus 10%. So we can see here that 896 users enrolled on the variant A and 104. So it's an approximation. So out of 1,000 participants, that was distribution. Under those users, we can see that the users from group A on the variant B A will have the basically X set to A on their individual remote configuration. So you can fetch that using a web service and have your client or mobile application or browser application act accordingly. And you can also check your results using the new Redis time series and dashboards.